There are several reports that the Nuggets are eyeing a trade for Chicago Bulls Zach Levine, and it's going to revolve around Michael Porter Jr. So, what does it mean for the Bulls? Does it make sense for the Nuggets? We'll talk about it right after this intro.
You're listening to Chicago Bulls Nation, your home for all things Chicago Bulls.
All right, Bulls Nation. So, Michael Porter Jr. is a player that is not old, but not young. If he gets traded to the Bulls, and he needs to be traded, if you're a Nuggets fan, there's just no way that the trade could happen without him being involved for money purposes. The Nuggets are reportedly trying to make some splash because they are needing some firepower, right? Nikola is in the prime of his career. Jamal Murray is not like his usual self right now. So they need some extra punch. And Michael Porter can give that to you every once in a while. But I guess it's not enough. It's not enough for the Nuggets. So they wanted to maximize Nikola's prime right here, that they're willing to make a swing. So if for the Nuggets, it makes sense, right? Like you got Russell Westbrook, who is in the twilight of his career. He can't really, maybe he gets some nights, but they wanted somebody that would relieve some pressure of Nikola Jokic. And yeah, Michael Porter can spot up. He can play a lot of things out there, but not somebody who you can give the ball and, if Nikola goes to the bench, it's like, go create for me. So in that sense, it makes sense for the Nuggets. The contract is almost similar. Like at the end of their contract, Zach is going to make $9 million more. I mean, that's not even a mid-level exception at that time. Michael Porter has the same amount of years contract left in his deal. So if you are going to pay a guy like $40 million, you might as well pay a guy $49 million. Like we can say that Zach LaVine is injury prone. Well, Michael Porter sat his entire rookie year. He's in and out of the lineup as well. I don't like this narrative that Zach is injury prone because, outside of his ACL, last year it doesn't count. If you're from Chicago, you know what happened there. But it makes sense from a Nuggets standpoint. Now, can they get better than Levine? I'm sure they could. Does Brandon Ingram makes more sense for them? Again, he's a guy that is a question mark. And in the West, I don't know how long you want to wait, because they're packed up in the West. Like the Nuggets are sitting at number 5 right now. A few days ago, they were number 9. A couple of losing streak would put them down with the Lakers at number 10. So the West is really competitive. So if I was the Nuggets and I want to make this deal, I want to make this happen right now. I don't want to wait till the trade deadline where, things do happen, unless you are, you have somebody in mind, maybe a Jimmy Butler. But then again, if you get a Jimmy Butler, did you really solve your issue? If the issue is scoring drought, Jimmy can score, but, not in bunches. Zach, if you're looking for a professional scorer, then that's Zach LaVine. If you're looking for a better basketball player, then that would be Jimmy Butler. I don't know if they can make that happen, or I don't know if the Heat's gonna make that happen. If I was the Heat, why not, right? Take a swing at Michael Porter Jr. As far as the Bulls, which this channel is revolving around the Bulls, it's good in a sense that you can finally move forward. You can move out of the Zach LaVine saga. I don't think you're getting a better player. I think you're getting a taller Zach LaVine. A contract that is not easily moved as well, especially once you go to the Bulls. Like him with his $35 million, same amount of time as Zach LaVine. So it's a wash right there. It's a little bit palatable, I suppose, moving forward. So if you're trading at the end of their contract, he's a $40 million guy, kind of like Ben Simmons compared to a 49. I suppose I like the fit better with him, if you're trying to win, let's say next year. Because now you can easily have Giddey and Kobe in the backcourt and have him and Patrick Williams in the front court with Nikola Vucevic. And if Nikola's going to get traded as well, it'll give you a taller, front court with Patrick Williams and him. He can defend. He's not the best defender. He gets injured as well. So overall, as a Bulls fan, if you make me pick, I'd rather pick an expiring contract. But this is how the trade is kind of going to look like from the standpoint of trade. So you can't do 1-for-1 because obviously Zach is making more money. So you're going to have to include Zeke. I'm not going to lie, I don't know much about Zeke. But he needs to be included. If I was the Nuggets, maybe I'll ask for Torrey Craig to get another player that is in a minimum contract that could win now. And if they ask for that, if I was the Bulls, I'd ask for a second rounder, like a conditional second rounder late. This would help the Nuggets, in my opinion, more than the Bulls. There's both 3 years left on the contract. The Bulls, if the Bulls wanted, because what I wanted to do is trade Zach for an expiring, and that might be too much of an ask. Or if not an expiring, like a big one. Let's say, for example, if it's going to be the Lakers, I want D'Lo. They have no choice but to get D'Lo anyway, because that's almost a $20 million expiring. So now you only have to absorb another 20. Now, if you trade Vooch as well, you can play around with that cap space, maybe sign a younger player that would fit your timeline better. Because like I said, Michael Porter is not old, but he's also not young. He's also not somebody that you would say is going to be a pillar for your rebuild. He's a nice piece to have, maybe for a winning team, and maybe you can flip him down the line, for a contender. But I would still do this trade. Make no mistake about it. I want to move on from the Zach LaVine saga. He doesn't want to be here. We already have players in his place. So let's move forward. If the Nuggets would want to do it, no picks attached. Straight up, Porter, Zeke, Zach LaVine, I'm all for it. Let's move forward, right? So for me, as a Bulls fan, that gets, we might miss Zach because, Zach is still electric to watch, but it's also aggravating to watch. We might feel the same way with Michael Porter. We might be like, my God, because he got the benefit of playing alongside great players with Jokic and Murray. He's not going to have that in Chicago, so his flaws are going to come out. He might be the next Patrick Williams for all we know. But so now we got to deal with him for 2 more years if he's that bad. Or he's not as good as he is looking, at these highlights and whatnot. But I'll still do it. I would still 100% do it. If Nuggets want to do it tonight, I'll personally drive Zach LaVine to Denver. So, but let me know in the comments, how do you feel about this trade? Is there a better package that you can think of? Let me know in the comments down below. I would love to hear your thoughts. Thank you for watching. And if you're a Bulls fan, please consider subscribing. I would really appreciate it. And thank you for watching. And I'll see you guys in the next video.